Somebody once told me.
Hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, everyone betwixt. I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and this is a sponsored video by Wizards of the Coast. Now you might have seen on the stream today being Wednesday the 4th of September, the new Throne of Eldraine trailer. Holy donkey! How good are these CGI trailers getting? We had quite an edgy, sort of dark and broody, you know, the end is nigh, in the end it doesn't even matter trailer for War of the Spark. This time it's a bit more tongue-in-cheek. I got to see the trailer a little bit early, so I filmed this video a day or two before the stream, and I'm going to talk about the trailer and my thoughts upon it. I'm going to go through it, kind of like an analysis or sort of discussion of the trailer. It was recommended that I do a reaction video, but reaction videos are kind of old hat, let's be honest. It's not 2006 anymore, so I'm not going to do a reaction. I'm going to talk about the trailer and what I think about it. Blood and gore and mild fantasy violence, just how I like it. Okay, so we have some sort of book with an antelope on the front. Let's pause there for a second. I don't know what this antelope is. It looks like a Spectrum Pronomus, or whatever that spell is that Harry Potter casts and makes a Spectrum Anyway, moving on. Here we have another deer or antelope or stag down here. So this can't not be relevant, right? This book may even be a card within the game, some sort of spell book or storybook that has some sort of power, might be some sort of mythic artifact that's probably only playable in Commander. But the fact that we have these antelope here and here and some fairies here and here, I don't think we can ignore this. Anyway, let's crack on with this. We've got a storybook. Let's check out some of the images that we see in the storybook here. These snippets here have less than a second to view them, so we have to chop through there we go. So this is some art we haven't seen. It looks like a travelling salesman style set up here. Then the next page we have some big-handed brute, maybe an ogre. You see that creature's hand again there? God, I have to get an angle down here to see it. Some sort of big boy. Looks like he only has 1 foot. God knows what's going on in this art, honestly. Oh, it's a giant. There's a hand, there's a foot, there's another foot about to step on someone. This is probably some sort of combat trick, but it's art for the new set. But more importantly, we have this beast-like creature with horns, sniffing a rose, a dressed lady, well, she's not naked, but a lady in a dress watching on like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Of course, this is not referencing directly the Disney movie, but perhaps the Grimm fairy tales and other folklore that would have influenced Beauty and the Beast originally. But this is definitely some sort of riff on Beauty and the Beast, right? And this is something I've been theorising about Throne of Eldraine for a little while. I spoke about it on stream recently as well. We're not going to flip cards as far as we know, because we've had the mechanics of the set kind of discussed in an article. But of course, if we don't have a big bad wolf that transforms in some way, or in this case, a beast that can be, I don't know, human or beast-like, depending on how much love he feels in his heart, then we're kind of missing a trick, right? So perhaps we want to have flip cards that we had in Innistrad and such, because again, they probably want to thematically and mechanically make Eldraine and Innistrad not too similar, because they obviously cross over when talking about European folklore. So perhaps we'll have cards that transform or change in how they play, to do with chapters, kind of like the sagas. We already saw the card frame for Goldilocks that had some sort of unique chapter or storybook page motif going on as well. So I'd be very surprised if this isn't some sort of transformational card. Then we have a hero of some kind, which looks, from just the colouring and the armour, a bit like the Conquistadors, the vampire Conquistadors of Ixalan, but I assume it's not a vampire, who has slayed a dragon. Throat slit, blood. I think this is the only place we see blood in the whole trailer, actually, pouring out of this poor dragon's mouth and neck. I wonder if the card art itself, when we get this card, will be as gory as this. But yeah, some sort of George and the Dragon thing going on here. I'm into it. I'm into it as an Englishman. And then we've got 2 children walking towards a pie on a shelf, and there are claws, witches' claws, coming up in the front. What I'm assuming is a lot of these arts might be stylized versions of the card art, whereas the card art will be sort of, you know, visually in line with the aesthetic of Magic. These might be stylized for the storybook in the same way that the window pane walkers happened for War of the Spark. And then what might happen is we might get these arts on Arena as alternate arts. Again, I don't know this for certain. Wizards haven't said this to me. I'm just saying that could be a thing. And then we move past the Hansel and Gretel to this, the Rowan Kenrith art. We've already seen this before. She's got a sort of a Red Riding Hood thing going on with this flowing cape that might be magical in some way. It's just sick art. This isn't as stylized in the storybook as some of these other ones we've just seen. It very much looks like the art we've already seen. So maybe my theory about stylized for the book and not stylized for the cards might be complete nonsense. some blue materials we can't really see, and obviously this Goldilocks, again, not stylized in the style that we've seen, or at least the alternate art, of a Goldilocks who is some sort of bear slayer with bear traps on chains as her primary weapon plus a cleaver and some bear skins and severed bear heads. Basically the most badass Goldilocks you've ever seen in your entire life. As you can see, we get a better picture of Georgie Porgy or Hansel and Gretel or whatever this is meant to be. We see like a teacup and some sort of fey-like creature. This looks like a gnome here, or some sort of mechanical construct made out of teapots and teacups. I am all about a reprint of Bottlework gnomes or whatever, but they're made out of like porcelain and teacups. That would be badass. We get a better shot of the blue page again, because the pages seem to happen 2 or 3 times in this book. Perhaps not laziness, but they don't want to show off too much art for the keen-eyed viewer like myself. Some sort of fairy carrying keys. There will 100% be fairies in the set. I know there's a discussion around whether fairies will actually be in the set, or whether it's fairy tale, and that's all just fairy symbolism. But let's be honest, that art is going to be on a card. We all know there's going to be a new Fae Walker with the art spoiled by Forbes. That is some sort of key-stealing Fae, if ever I saw one. And then we get to this CGI moment. So we've got like this still shot becomes actual moving motion. We've got these knights. Let's pause again. These knights that are carrying like a circle imagery on their backs. These appear to be the same knights that were shown in this artwork, perhaps, where they're like sort of hovering their swords over some sort of gateway to another realm, or Oblivion Ring style effect. And also the circle motif shows up on the swords of this lady here, and in her dress, all over the shop. So this seems to be some sort of ruling character in this world, and these appear to be her knights. The sword also looks suspiciously like God's End. I'm just saying. Also in this carriage we have some trapped ogre, I thought. But if we rewind a little bit... Yeah, there we go. We've got glowing purple eyes, sort of furry gauntlets, a big dude. Well, we won't need to wait for too much longer to figure out what that is. There is a statue here that I can't make out. Some more sort of motifs that might become relevant later on. Some sort of almost floral motif. And then we've got more knights on the walls. Perhaps a different... So, here's an interesting point. These motifs and these guys and this banner all look like a different thing to the guys carrying in the brute in the carriage. 2 different classes. Perhaps these are the blue-white guild-aligned humans. Perhaps these are... Well, actually, these look more blue-white. Maybe these are white-black. No, they're also blue. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. Who knows? Then we get to the best part of the trailer. Well, the main part of the trailer. Okay, I'm going to do some more pausing here. But let's have a look at this pie. Now, I showed my wife this because, well, she's got a thing for gingerbread men. Not like that, but because she's always enjoyed the gingerbread man from the Shrek movies and just likes gingerbread in general, so cute gingerbread men are her thing. And look at this pie. I was like, are these thorns? Are these brambles, perhaps? And then my wife pointed out, no, they appear to be like crow's beaks. And I was like, huh, fairy tales with birds in a pie. Fairy tale with birds in a pie. Sing a Song of Sixpence is a nursery rhyme. Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Was not that dainty dish to set before a king. This is some reference to Sing a Song of Sixpence. What that means is, well, I don't know, there'll be some sort of card that has birds in a pie. Perhaps it makes birds tokens. Imagine a pie where, like, when one of your creatures opens it somehow, like crewing it. Imagine a pie vehicle and the crew birds come out. That's not going to happen, but that would be cool, right? Moving on, we have Poisoned Fruit, which is an obvious homage or reference to Snow White and the poisoned apple that puts her to sleep. Again, I expect there to be at least one card that references that, whether it be a poisoned apple itself, or the evil queen, or Snow White, or the dwarves, or whatever, is yet to be seen. Then we have a golden egg, if you're not aware. Then we have a golden egg. If you're not aware, the goose that laid the golden egg is, again, a sort of fairy tale of sorts. And by fairy tale, I mean one of Aesop's fables. There's only so many grim fairy tales they can sort of draw influence from, so I guess Aesop's fables and similar stuff is important as well. And I mean, it's so much a part of popular culture. We all know the goose that lays the golden egg. If you don't know, the idea is that if you cut open said goose to try and get at all the riches at once, you end up killing the goose or hen or whatever, and you no longer have the thing that produces the riches, the eggs. These things are so much part of popular culture that I assume that Throne of Eldraine won't just be about Grimm's fairy tales, it'll be about all these popular idioms, axioms, fables, and such. Moving on from there, we have the most brutal image in the whole thing for people who don't like to eat meat. We have 3 pigs' heads. That's the 3 little piggies, right? 3 little piggies, but instead of like seeing a picture of them or a reference to them existing, they're dead, and they've got their 3 heads on a planet. Now, of course, it could just be 3 pigs' heads, but in a set that's around fairy tales and fables, The idea that 3 little piggies isn't the reference there it's quite unlikely. We also have a pomegranate down here. Is that a pomegranate? I generally had to Google a pomegranate to make sure I was getting the right thing. No, that's not a pomegranate, because pomegranates aren't green on the outside. Is that a fig? No, it's not a fig. Maybe it's an unripe fig. Who knows? That's obviously a reference to the real-world fruit, a fig. Then we have Goldilocks on 3 bears. We've already seen the art in the beginning part. Here are 3 bears' heads on the wall, complete with bear traps attached to chains, which is one of the most brutal-looking weapons I've seen in Magic Canon. I really kind of hope there's an equipment that has a bear trap on a chain. I don't want to be, like, constructed playable or anything, but I just want it limited to, like, you know, Goldilocks that's a dual-wield bear traps on chains. That'd be gas. Then we scroll on some more. There was like a peeled lemon and some garlic, and none of these things to me look like things from fairy tales as such. There's some jam over here and a goblet, and none of this stuff is ringing any bells for me. And then we get to the main part of the trailer. So let's go back and just watch this in. It's all the references that I've just, like, you know, pointed out so far, and we pan down and we get the gingerbread men and gingerbread woman, man and woman. Don't forget, we've seen this kind of already with all the gingerbread men that have been sent out to creators to advertise the stream. Fun fact, at time of recording, my gingerbread man and invitation, or I assume that's what it is, been sent from Wizards. It's stuck at Stansted Airport going through, and I quote, clearing. So I don't have a gingerbread man to taste on camera or to talk about on social media. These 2 are now joined at the hand. They're like a couple. There's a spoonful of sugar to the right of them. I don't know if that's just because of the baking, or maybe a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. That's not really a fairy tale, is it? Mary Poppins isn't really a fairy tale. Then they get up, and they're all friendly, and they're all loving. The music cues sort of die off at this point, and we see a dead gingerbread man who's already been eaten and gone a bit stale. Then we hear the crashing, the smashing, the bashing and the roaring of a rowdy crowd. They hide behind a pot of jam. Who could it be? Who are these men about to defend this room full of cake and biscuits from? Oh, there he is! Somebody once told me the word. It's Garrick, boys and girls. I knew he'd be in this set. I knew it. Now his eyes are glowing like purpley red, so he's being possessed by something. I think the lore is already available for that. He's being possessed by some sort of queen or king or wizard or witch character. Obviously these gingerbread people are a bit scared of Garrick, because he does look like a bit of a bastard. Like, he doesn't look like the kind of friendly guy who's going to hang out with, especially with those eyes. There you go, they see a way to get away from Garrick, past the bird pie. And oh look, hot soup reprint confirmed! Right there, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't got a spoiler, by the way, so Wizards, if you want to send me hot soup, if hot soup is in the set, let's do it. Then this pail of milk gets smashed during the commotion. Now, this milk looks awesome from like a CGI perspective, except it's flowing too slowly. It's flowing like a large body of water that would flow slowly because it's big. But don't forget, it's not that big. It's just the perspective making it look big. We have a fake out here. Jam tarts. I love jam tarts. They do not get killed by the milk. They do not get killed by the milk. Or the falling tarts. They survive the milk. I thought the milk was going to, like, melt them. You know when you get biscuits and milk to go soggy? I thought that's what we were going with this. So Garrick is wrecking fools in the background. The milk is dripping. The soup is hot. Oh, no! So I thought the broken gingerbread man hand that we saw in all the social media posts from, like, all the creators on Twitter and on Instagram and stuff were because they were purposely broken to reference this part of the trailer. The Marshall Sutcliffe's biscuit was not broken. Our hero is taken by Garrick. And then we see these... The changing music is so good. And the pitter-patter of soup where somehow this, well, I would have thought, soggy gingerbread woman is back. And she's dishevelled and her icing is melting and she is not happy at Garrick. There we go. This is what I imagine a lot of gingerbread men and women are going to look like in this set. We get a Magic the Gathering Arena logo, by the way, not a Magic the Gathering logo, importantly, because Arena's more important now. And she jumps to stab Garrick in the eye with this fork. I mean, I think this is just a traditional fork. I don't think there's anything special about it. Like an old school traditional fork. I really hope, again, this is an item in the game. These fairy tales fight back. Now, let's talk a bit about the gingerbread men and women quickly. I am hoping, with any luck, that gingerbread men and women are a playable, like, race as such. If there's creature type gingerbread, and it's a draft archetype, I don't know, red-green? Is red-green the colour of cooking? It feels like it would be, right? Okay, there you go. Comment down below. What colour do you think cooking is? If they aren't a playable draft archetype of creature type, then I want there to be cards that create gingerbread tokens. Hey? Collectively, my Discord talked about how it'd be cool if the devouring mechanic came back so you could play like a witch They would eat, I don't know, a little boy, a little girl, you know, the Goldilocks, and then like some gingerbread men, they get stronger, get swole, get a thick witch. But basically, there's no doubt in my mind there's going to be some more than one gingerbread card type. We've already seen that cool art that got everyone going. I was hoping that would be a legendary one. Maybe maybe she's got a name. And don't forget, if we make a comparison to the War of the Spark trailer, it was all named characters, right? Nicobolas and Liliana and Dark Faden getting killed all too soon. So maybe these gingerbread men and women might actually be named characters. Huh? Think about it. The soldiers that we saw, the knights that we saw that fight Garrick, are all faceless in the sense that we don't actually get to see their faces much. At all. If at all. If at all. So think about it. What if, because we're seeing them and spending some time with them, this is a legendary gingerbread? I don't know. I'm making this video 2 days before the stream comes out, so perhaps they've already announced it and shown one of the gingerbread characters, the gingerbread queen. A legendary red-green gingerbread that makes gingerbread tokens, perhaps. Or just summons forks. Maybe this is Stoneforge Ginger Mystic. No. Stone Ginger. Gingerforge Mystic. And you tap her to put forks into play. And like bear traps on chains. You're like, whoa! Get them. So, I mean, perhaps pausing on this scene is a little bit insensitive to our poor gingerbread hero who lasted all of about, what was it, a minute and a half, 2 minutes of a trailer. But Garrick is back and he is chewing it up. Apart from that, there isn't much more else to say in the trailer. I think I've picked out all the key parts and the hints at other cards or fairy tales or references we'll see in the set. Ultimately, I think this trailer is awesome. Like, I'm genuinely impressed with another second CGI trailer of this high quality. Now, people are going to compare it to Shrek. I've already probably done the meme of Garrick bursting through the doors. I'll do it one more time. Here we go.
Somebody once told me the word.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, Shrek hasn't got a monopoly on fairy tale, like retellings, right? And sure, this trailer is a bit more tongue-in-cheek and a bit sillier than War of the Spark, but I think that tonal shift and difference is good. I don't want every single story to be deep, heavy, hard-hitting, dark and edgy. I don't want to see people screaming and getting incinerated in every single trailer, right? I mean, the fact that one of the characters that we were introduced to only a minute and a half later gets chewed to pieces by one of our previous heroes who's now kind of a villain, that's kind of heavy. Donkey! Right? I'm being real here. I'm impressed with the quality of this trailer. The production value of this and the War of the Spark trailer compared to the old like sort of moving card art with some bad CGI thrown in is off the chart. The fact they're getting baked and sending out customized gingerbread men to creators and influencers to promote the set is also pretty gas. They are investing heavily into magic and it shows, fam. I love it. I want to see what you guys say in the comment section below. I know people who are on the I Hate Watsy train are going to be like, but it looks like Shrek. It does a little bit, because it's CGI and it's fairy tales and it's got gingerbread men in it. I mean, it shares some three things with Shrek, right? Like, you can't get away from that. But the quality of the trailer still shines through. The Can't Take My Eyes Off of You music, you know, changing in tone and shifting in tempo was awesome. I'm looking forward to like more trailers where they do this again. I mean, I personally criticized the last trailer for being very Dead Island. The typical thing of a video game trailer or game trailer, Dead Island, Gears of War with Mad World, having that slow, sad change to a popular music song and, you know, slow motion rewinds like the Dead Island trailer. And I'm glad with this one, it's got a whole different route. There's more energy, it's just more exciting to have a trailer that differs in tone so significantly from the previous one. It just makes me incredibly hyped for whatever the next set, Kaldheim, whatever it will be, what promos we're going to have for that. In some ways it makes me sad that we didn't get anything like this for Commander or Modern Horizons. I know they're not on Arena, so I think actually what this is that the budget for these trailers is coming out of like the Arena budget in terms of company-wide, because Arena's making so much money. But I would have liked it for Commander, even a shorter one, like a minute-long one, showing off the new commanders and how they exist in their world, or Modern Horizons, showing off some of these weird stuff. Imagine if Renaissance was introduced as climbing up out of a ditch and showing up in full CGI. How awesome would that have been? I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into what the Throne of Eldraine trailer has in it. I hope it was insightful. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, both of the trailer itself and what colour in the colour pie cookery would be. Until next time, make sure you hit the subscription button, make sure you hit the bell, make sure you like this video and share it with your friends, and ta-ta for now.